Hi, it's Yev here. I'm super excited about this because I love connecting different resources that already exist, and this is going to help a lot of Amazon sellers that are trying Facebook ads, and particularly this is for SellerTools and Zontracker integration and basically leveraging Manychat. So it's for a very specific case uses, but it's very common, and I'll show you exactly the benefits of it and how to set this up. And this is new as of April 2020. So you definitely want to pay attention to this if you're trying to leverage external marketing for your Amazon. You're running Facebook ads and you're getting your customers to ManyChat, and at some point they end up on Amazon. And during this whole process, this is where you're leveraging SellerTools for a lot of the different automated steps, and then Zontracker is helping with different parts of the data and attribution and Facebook optimization. So at each step, you're basically there's like data going in different places depending on the data that you have. If you have the customer's name or Amazon order ID or email, there's like all of these different steps where you may be collecting customer information. At each step of the customer journey, there's basically more data being transferred to different areas, but the benefit is that this data is getting back into Facebook. I'll come back to the benefits in a second. But essentially, when you're looking at your Facebook ads to determine which ads to kill off, which ads to scale, how to be efficient with your budget, or how to fully leverage the Facebook algorithm so you can be more efficient with what you probably know better, the Amazon algorithm. When you're looking at your ads, this integration is going to allow you to improve your decisions basically. And if you used Zontracker before, so this is slightly different. It's built upon the original Zontracker feature. So usually most brands, they're using cost per message as their decision of the ad. And what this does, just as Zontracker does originally, you have an Amazon purchase column, but this has better efficiency and higher accuracy as well. So essentially, you're going to use the cost per purchase as your metric of making ad decisions. It's more lower in the funnel, so this is a higher quality ad decision that you can be making, or whether this is cost per rebate, however you're interpreting it. So essentially, you're going to see that data and be able to optimize on it. So the part is cost per message could be misleading. This is what most brands are using. They're running campaigns for messaging is the objective, and Facebook is so smart now that they're just going to get you a lot of messages, and that tends to then bring down the quality of the audience because Facebook has gotten that smart. So we want to try to have that objective be further down the funnel as much as possible. And what's better than Amazon purchase? Like that's the best way of being able to make sure that those data and ad decisions are based on the actual purchases that are happening. So that attribution is improved, which you're actually seeing in that column, and you're able to optimize on that data. So that means when you're choosing messaging as the objective, as most brands do, you actually want to choose Amazon purchase as your objective for Facebook to optimize on. And it's faster than there's other methods and how Zontracker worked originally, and there's all kinds of API changes where like all of those basically depend on having Amazon purchase data, but that's when an Amazon order ships. So it'll be later in the day or the next day or 2 days later. It kind of just like depends on a lot of factors. But this way, when the customer is providing information in Manychat and SellerTools, Zontracker has that data. Basically, that data is kind of going through the loop even at a faster pace. As soon as the customer provides information in Manychat, the optimization happens right away. So that's, if you know about the Facebook algorithm, that's really key there. Big advantage compared to how Zontracker just traditionally works. And diversified ranking. I'm not going to get into that, but whether it's using GeoRank or all kinds of ranking strategies, it'll allow you to be able to test even more campaigns, so you can send diversified data into Amazon to make sure your ranking is even more effective because you have higher quality interpretation that you're able to do. In a second, I'll show how to like set it up, and then you just set it up once, and that's it. This is the best part where you activate it and it's done. And then like with different flows, you kind of like repeat part of that activation. But it's all simple. What I really like about what I always try to do is that what are you already doing, and how can that be improved with some sort of technical and innovation in the back end to give you a better performance. So that's the case here. So in this example where there's all kinds of ads that are so that's good. Like this brand, last 30 days is testing all kinds of like creatives and offers. So there's like multiple ads. So there's already some testing going on. That's good. But as you can see, that the cost per message varies quite a bit, and the brand may decide that, all right, the worst cost per message, then gonna turn those off for the future, and it looks like here where there's like some ads that are definitely better than the rest. So I think that's obvious based on cost per message. But when you're looking at here, the ad might, the brand, the seller advertiser might say, well, all right, this cost per message is 64 cents and 61 cents. So these are better than this one that's 78 cents. So I'm gonna like let these ads run in the future. But when you have the cost per purchase data, you know that actually the cost per purchase in these ones is not as good as this ad. And maybe there's other exceptions too with some interesting ads depending on what's being tested. But into the future, like this is the ad that I would make sure that the one is getting the budget. And this brand knows that's why the daily ad spend is more. But you're basically using this higher quality, lower funnel, higher quality audience data to make your interpretation. So that's the benefit, huge benefit there. This allows you to scale or to save budget. It kind of like depends on your approach. All right, and to set this up, so one part is in your SellerTools, you need an API key. So make sure you have the API, the live one. And then in your Zontracker dashboard, there's all kinds of other features, but I'm talking about this one. So one, putting in your SellerTools API here. This helps for part of the features, actually slightly related, but the main one is here where you're connecting to the Manychat API. I'll show that here too. So in the Manychat settings API, you have the token. That's going in your token. Also, you create a new user field. One is named Zontracker text create, you create that. And another one is something about the Amazon order ID. So by default, have it as Amazon order ID. So for SellerTools, you have to go based on the naming conventions there. So just kind of making sure you're using the right field, but whichever field you're using where you're storing Amazon order ID information, that's the name that you want to put into this field here. So the default example was Amazon order ID, but just rename this the SellerTools version. And then the Zontracker custom field ID, that's when you hover, you kind of just find your Zontracker field wherever you make that, and then that's the field ID there. And then you save it, and then that helps with that full automation. So that will allow it to work. But then the other part that you need to do in your actual flow, and the flows vary quite a bit across sellers depending on your goal, what templates you're using, what flows. But the main part, one, like the customer isn't going to see anything different. But wherever you're asking for the Amazon order ID, so usually there's some sort of action where you're asking for their ID and you're saving it, the Amazon order ID, or this may be the SellerTools named. Input that field, that's what it's called there. And then an additional action as the customer puts in the Amazon order ID is that you're setting the custom field to 1. So as soon as this happens, so any new flows and kind of future flows, then as that happens, the data transfer happens. So that's the only change, is just making sure that you are saving the Amazon order ID in some way. And in the Zontracker dashboard, it's specified where that is, and also that the custom field is changed to 1. And that's pretty much it, just making sure that that's saved and published and the rest of your flow is unaffected. And that's just making sure that that data is connected across all of the different platforms. And what's happening is the Amazon order ID is basically like cross-checked in different ways, and we're able to just like pull the information and get it back into the Facebook attribution, so you actually see it in the columns. And then the different kind of algorithmic adjustments we have in there through Zontracker is just making sure that the optimization is working. But then that's kind of like going through Zontracker onboarding and making sure that you have that active. All right, hopefully that was helpful. This is again, not most, or like probably all or most of your competitors are not doing something to the scale, because this is a new integrations and there's not really any other technology out there of what Zontracker is doing and what SellerTools is doing. So this integration with both of them just is continuing that innovation, and hopefully you guys take advantage of that. Let me know if there's questions, and also if you like this, there's a more advanced version of this. I could create a video more about that. All right, thanks.